You can go.
Okay, all right. So my name is Brooke. I am a coach under Brookie C. And let's see, it's actually been a year now since I've consistently been doing Beachbody workouts, but I started in September of last year, just signing up through the website and doing the workouts. Did not have a whole lot of success by myself, but I was in love. Like I knew that it would work for me. I knew that it was going to be the thing that was going to shift the way that I saw like health and fitness, and actually I would be able to see results, but I was missing the community piece. So for a long time I had been following Brooke on social media, and eventually, she was always showing pictures and like boomerangs of the virtual gym. And I was always so jealous. I'm like, man, I want to be a part of that. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, like, do I have to be a coach? Because I was not interested at all in coaching when I started. Um, I was like, well, that's not totally true. I was a little bit interested, but not convinced. So I was like, I don't want the pressure. And she assured me, like, no, you do not have to be a coach to be a part of the community. Like, you can absolutely be in the virtual gym. And I was like, in. Within a couple weeks of the first program I ever did was Bar Blend. I paired it with 2B Mindset, had great results. And at that point, I was like, okay, I want to be a coach because this is awesome. Number one. Number two, I love this community. Like, these were the people that I found myself with. These are the people, like, I couldn't have done it without that piece of the puzzle. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I started coaching, how I decided to actually become a coach and not just use it for the discount. Because I fell in love with my own journey first. Never did I ever think that I actually ended up going to what's it called? Super weekend to meet Jericho with a couple girls on the team. And I remember sitting in that room, and they would get up and they would have anyone who hit success starters stand up. They start shouting people out. And I'm like looking around thinking, maybe I'll coach one day. Nikki's looking at me like, you're going to coach one day. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll coach one day, but I'm not going to be standing up at the next event. Like I never thought that I would hit success starter or any milestone whatsoever. So it's just been a really exciting ride, and I'm excited to be here.
Okay, thank you, Brooke. All right, so I first started like seeing all of Dana's stories on Instagram, and at the time I was pregnant, and I actually think that maybe she like posted something about Brooke once. So I think I started following you too, Brooke, about the same time, and you were pregnant at the same time also. So I feel like that sort of like motivated me because I'm like, okay, she's pregnant and she's doing this. At the time, I was kind of using being pregnant as my excuse not to do it yet. But I knew like as soon as I was done and like cleared for my doctor and everything, then I knew like, okay, I want to start this. So I do remember having like multiple conversations with Dana and saying like, I'm not ready yet, but let me have my baby, give me 6 weeks, and then I'll be ready. So that's kind of how I got started because, yeah, I had a 2-year-old and then a newborn, and I just knew like I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be lazy. Like I want to have energy to keep up with them and just like feel good and be like a fun, active mom and everything. And so that's kind of how I started, and that was in 2018. So then I just kind of worked on myself, same as what Brooke said. And then as I was like kind of working on my own health journey, then other people started like noticing and saying like, wow, you look really good. Like you just had a baby. What are you doing? And so I was just like sharing like with my friends and my family. And the more I started to share with my friends and my family, then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I could do this, because they're asking me all these questions and like wanting to be a part of like what I'm doing. And at that time I was like so new and didn't really even know what I was doing either. But so then I talked to Dana and kind of got like the ropes on coaching or whatever. So then I was like, okay, maybe this is something that I could do. So then I started coaching in January, this beginning of this year. And here I am now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, so on the topic of you guys being new coaches, what would you say advice to brand new coaches to hit Success Starter? Because that doesn't just happen. You got to work for it. So what would be like 2 to 3 things or one thing, whatever you want to share for new coaches, if that is a goal?
Yeah, it doesn't just happen, but it's also not like this super complicated thing that only certain people can do. It's like, if you do the things, you're like, you have a very large chance of actually hitting your goals. And I know that because anytime I'm actually implementing these things, I see it might not be that exact month, but I will see the fruit of it coming like down the line. I would say, if you look at the business activity tracker, the first thing is you, right? I think we all know that, like, get your own results is huge, because like Brittany said, she wasn't even trying to coach and she got her own results and other people were asking her. So if you get your own results, people will notice. So there's that. And then there's sharing your results through like posting on social media, sharing in your stories, talking about what you're doing, sharing, little snippets of the products you're using, little snippets of the workouts you're doing, just things like that. It'll really pique people's interest. And then I mentioned the business activity tracker, which for the first couple of months I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But then one day I was like, no, I'm just gonna do it. And I did it. And that month was the first month I hit Success Club. It just like right away. So it's like, it works if you follow it, if you use it. So yeah, get your own results, share your results, and use the business activity tracker. It's pretty darn simple. Not easy, because you have to really step over yourself, right? Like sometimes you're afraid to do all the things that are on the business activity tracker. That was me. I'm still like trying to figure myself out and like step over the fear of all the little things that are on that tracker. So it's not easy, but it is not complicated, if that makes any sense.
I always feel like it's not hard. Like, in like my
Right.
mind, I'm like, oh, this is hard. But I'm like, no, that's not hard. Like,
It's
I'm
not.
sitting on my couch under a blanket and I have
Right.
like, that's not hard. Like,
Right. No, it's not hard. You're going to have to face some stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to have to grow through it.
Love it.
Pretty much I had like the same things written down. I remember one of the first team calls that I got on, and I think Brooke said like, be a product of the product. So that has like really stuck with me. So same thing, like do the workouts, drink your Shakeology, Energize, of course, couldn't live without that. And then just sharing all of that. Because I feel like even like as people are wanting to know like what workouts you're doing or whatever, then they'll also always be like, so what is it that you're drinking? Or how do you wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and just start working out? So I feel like just sharing all of those little things, even though it might be silly, like, or you feel silly in the beginning, like, oh, I'm dumping some powder into water, like this is weird. But then in the end, like, I don't know, people really do want to know. And I feel like everyone wants to be healthy. They just don't really know like how to get there. So just sharing that as much as you can. And then, yeah, like Brooke said, just getting over those fears. I still have a lot of fears I need to get over, but I'm working on it. So yeah, I just think sharing and like pushing yourself all the time to get better.
Okay, this wasn't a question I sent you, but I'm just curious, like, do you guys do anything for PD at all, or have you, or has anything like that helped?
Yeah, I can't live without it. I think the Fear is My Homeboy was the first real like professional development book that I did. Well, it's personal and professional development, I guess, but that one lit a fire under my butt, and I swear that's why I hit Success Club.
Mm-hmm. We need to do a team book read again, I feel like.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
That's a weakness of mine.
No,
I read too much for school, but I will improve.
You can always listen to things, Audible.
Yes, I used to, I can't remember what the podcast was, but I had like a small commute, so I would listen to it on the way to school. Now I switched jobs. I don't really have a commute, but yeah, I need to get better about that.
Or like the national wake up calls, they're just always so good. I always get so excited to listen to them. But yeah, like that has been a huge part of it for me. And I always know, like, I can always see a difference when I'm doing that and when I'm actually feeding into that and like what I'm listening to, what I'm reading, like shows in on my business activity tracker. I have very little like motivation and well, not even motivation. I have very little like what's the word? Like willpower to actually make myself do it without that PD personally.
Mhm. Okay, I think this next question, one of you can answer or both of you, however, it's just more like, give us the nitty gritty details of the program, like what to expect, the workouts, anything about Dallas, and then even like the dates of things, because I'm like, I don't even know. I've heard them, but I'd love to hear from you guys. So whoever wants to take that.
Okay. All right. So the program is 30 days long, obviously, 30-day breakaway. And there's workouts 6 days a week. But I was just looking back at the calendar just to like make sure I have all the details right. And okay, so 1 day a week, every week is like a true rest day. So like absolutely nothing. Then there's also usually 1 or 2 times a week that it's like a rest day, but it's a rollout rest day. So I'd never used a like body roller before. And at first I thought it hurt really bad. And I was like, this is torture. But in the end, once I actually like figured out how to do it, I love it. And it's weird that I lived without it now. And then, okay, so there's 2 different calendars also. So there's a advanced, runner's calendar, which is like divided out into like beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then there's another calendar that's the time crunch. Brooke, I don't know what calendar you did. I did the just like full runner's calendar. And so those would be like a run, maybe like the 2 days, and then a rollout workout after that. And then the other 4 days would be like a workout and a run. So it was kind of time consuming, I thought. I was glad that it happened in the summer because I had a lot more time then to squeeze it all in. But the runs are like 19 to 25 minutes. And then the workouts were all 20 to 30 minutes. So kind of a lot, but I think once I got the like hang of it, then it didn't seem to be so time consuming. And then what else? Oh, there's the workouts are all like light, medium, heavy weights, the resistance bands, rollers, all of that. And then, oh, the thing that I really liked about the runs were, so it was never about like distance. It was always about time and your breathing. And so like one of the first workouts she would talk about, oh, I can't remember what the exact wording was, but it was like how you should, be breathing. So like she would say like 2 to 3. So that would mean like you're running, but maybe you could talk at the same time as you're running. Or like 4 to 5 is you would be running and like maybe be able to have a little bit of a conversation, but not like a lot. And then like 7 to 8 was like running, you really can't breathe. And then like 8, 9, 10 is like dead sprint, like I want to die when I'm done. So I liked that, but it was always more just about like how hard you should be running for each of those things. And then, oh, what else did I put down? So the runs were like all different things. So like one of them would be descending intervals. So you would like start with a longer time and then like work your way down. So, and I think usually the like hardest you ever had to run I think was like 2.5 minutes or something. And then you might not walk after, but you would like do a recover, or like your breathing would level down. So like maybe you'd be running really hard for like 2 minutes and then lower to like a jog or something, if that makes sense. And then honestly, I think the longest like timed run that we ever did was like 15 minutes. Is that right? 15 minutes at a time, I think. And that was like the day before we ran the 5K.
Yeah, I think
So,
so.
is that right?
I think so, yeah.
So really, it was always like pretty short runs, but more just like focused on your breathing until the end. And then that was like the only long run, really. So
Yeah,
that's
and
why I was kind of like, how are we going to run a 5K after this? But I guess all of the training that you do before that, just here we go, we did it. So yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, Brooke?
yeah, I was just gonna, you were talking about the like the numbers, the RPE, the rate of perceived
Yeah.
exertion, and I just like, I love this because you know, one of the things is that about this program is that it's like it really is for any level. Like if someone's, there are people in our group who had run like half marathons before and that were runners, and at the end of the program they came away shaving like chunks off of their time because the RPE, what it does is really individualizes your training. So it's like you're not running a certain speed, you're running, it's your rate of perceived exertion. If it feels like it's really individualized to you. So a 2 or 3 to me might be someone else's 5 or 6, or my 8 might be an avid runner's like 3, you know? So that I really did like that. And I think that that's why it really does apply to everyone. Like I didn't understand that in the beginning. I'm like, okay, so this is what, a couch to 5K program, but it's not. It's not a couch. It is, but it's better than that because A, you're doing it in 30 days, and B, all the components of the couch to 5K program are like, or all the components of 30-day breakaway are absolutely necessary. I have done couch to 5K and failed many times. Like a really lot of times I've just made it like a week through and been like, I can't, my body broke.
I love to hear you say that because that was one of my questions at the end. Like, so this is only for, like, if you're already a runner, they probably don't want to do it. But how did you word that? Like, when did you write it down? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's for anyone. You can be a beginner, have never run ever in your entire life, or you can already be someone who's run a half marathon, like someone who runs regularly, because the training is individualized with the, like, using the rate of perceived exertion. It's called an RPE. So it's really like what it feels like to you when you're running. I want you to exert yourself. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, and you're giving it a 2 to 3 effort, or whatever Idelis says at the time. But it's like that training can help anyone, no matter what fitness level you're at.
oh, that's helpful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What else was I going to say? So what about dates?
Oh, October 5th, I think, is when it comes out for coaches. And then is it the 19th for
Yeah.
customers, Brittany?
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say about the running too that I liked was each of the runs that you do them like once in the first like 2.5 weeks, and then again in like the second part. And on the little calendar, it'll say like distance. So even though you're not trying to like really be a time, you like could judge how you were doing by your distance. So like say the first time I ran 1.3 miles. And so then when you went to do it again, you would know like, okay, I've improved if I've run like 1.6 miles or something. So even though it was never really about the distance, like you could still kind of like gauge how you're doing or if you've improved that way. So I liked that.
Yeah, it was still a data point.
Yeah.
I paid attention to.
Nice. Okay, the last question I have, and then we'll leave some time for questions because I see some in the chat, is what were your personal kind of like results, testimony, like how did it go specifically for you and why, like kind of to my point earlier, like why do we need to talk about it? Why do we need to try it out or do it? What would you guys say to that? So take it away.
Well, I will say when I found out what program that I was in, I was like, my immediate reaction was like, dang it. Like, I did not want to do it. It did not look fun and exciting to me. It wasn't like all this crazy awesome music and like pumped up, this and that, but but it was like, you know, then I thought about it and I was like, well, I've done couch to 5K programs before. Why? Because there's something in me. I want to run. I want to be able to do this. So I very quickly changed my tune about it. I mean, within minutes. But my own personal story is that as a kid, when I was 10 years old, I had like a really severe asthma attack when I was on a basketball court playing a basketball game. And I went to the doctor and I was told that I had exercise induced asthma and anxiety induced asthma. So if you can imagine, what would happen was that if I was exercising, I would start closing up. And then because when you start closing up, what's going to happen? Well, you start panicking. And so then the anxiety would make it worse and worse. And so it was just this mental thing where I couldn't exercise. Like I would collapse anytime we ran the mile at school. And I was legitimately terrified of running, like forever. My heart would start beating really fast and it was just scary. So I've never run a 5K ever in my life. The longest I've ever run is a mile. And that was after I started Beachbody because I started learning like through personal development and stuff, I started learning to face my fears. And so I taught myself to run a mile. And then I remember beginning the program and thinking, well, I know in the past when I've tried these couch to 5K programs, I'm going to say that because that was my mindset before the program started. This is just another couch to 5K program. Maybe there's some more bells and whistles, but that's what it is. And when I've done this in the past, I've made it a week and my body broke. Like I swear, like I had hip bursitis, like my joints were inflamed. I couldn't walk. It was miserable. Like running broke my body. And so I was like, so I don't know what's going to happen because I haven't even started the program yet and my hip hurts and my knee hurts. Within a week into the program, I had no pain. Like my pain actually, the pain that I had going into the program went away. And here's why I believe. I believe it's because there's strength training with it and the rest day / rollout recovery. Like I thought it was a joke at first. And I'm like, Brittany, I tried the thing and I cried when I did it. Okay. Like my IT bands it was painful. But after I actually got them rolled out, and Idalis will say, she's like, if it hurts really bad, that means you need it. That means like, if it hurts bad, you need it. You need to dig in. And it sucks. Okay. But like, it's necessary. And so I started doing that and I realized, okay, now when I roll out, my IT bands don't hurt so bad. And I don't have the joint pain that I had. Like, is that related? I don't know. So I think definitely like both of those components, the rollout recovery and the strength training have really helped because then when you're running, your muscles are strong and your joints aren't taking all the impact because your body is strong, your body is carrying you. And she teaches you proper form. She teaches you to land in mid-foot. I was a major heel striker. And I fixed that through this program, like 100%. I don't do that anymore. I actually run now in 0 drop shoes because I don't need the extra crazy padding because I run properly. So, that was a huge testimony for me. I definitely still thought halfway through the program, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to actually run the entire 5K. Idalis kept saying everybody did it. Everybody in the first test group finished that 5K. She said that everyone ran it. I don't know if that's what she meant or if she just meant that everyone finished it, but I did not believe I was going to be able to finish it. And 5K day rolls around and I legitimately ran the entire thing, and I did it in under 36 minutes, which is huge for me. So I had so many victories through the program, from, being able to learn how to run properly, being able to run an entire 5K, and reducing the pain in my body that was already there, which blew my mind because I always thought that running was just so bad for you. And why I think that everyone should get behind it, I agree. Like, even if you're not going to do it, talk about it. Because I posted like one thing about it, and so many people out there want to run, or want to become a runner, or want to have the experience, or want to say that they did it. Or there are so many people out there who have zero interest in at-home workouts. But this is a little bit outside the box. It's 30-day breakaway. You get to go outside and you run, or, on a treadmill, but my personal favorite is outside. And I really think that this is going to speak to all those people who are like, yeah, I'm not into doing video workouts, because there is a component of this that has nothing to do with that. And it is so much more than a Couch to 5K program. I can't stress that enough. So with that, I'll turn it over to Brittany.
I don't even know how I follow that. I guess for me, definitely feel the same way about when I found out what the program was. I think immediately I messaged Dana, was like, of all things, I have to run. So I was definitely dreading that. And I have ran some 5Ks like before children. And so it had been a really long time. And then actually the 4th of July, my sister and I ran a 5K, and we didn't train whatsoever, and it was pretty horrible. And actually the whole time that we ran, we picked like 3 streets and pretty much ran back and forth on those 3 streets because they were shaded and they were flat and whatever, but we got our 3.1 miles that we had to have. So then she actually kind of ran this with me. And so we just said to ourselves, like, okay, we're going to run this 5K, and we're not going to just look for the shade, and we're not going to just look for the flat roads. Like, we're actually going to do this. And so our goal was to beat our time like that we had gotten before. And so we did beat it by like 4 minutes. So that was really exciting for us. And I don't know, I just think the whole entire time, like, it's definitely good to have a running buddy because we pushed each other. And like the mornings that I didn't really want to get up and do it, then she'd be like, come on, let's go run. Or the mornings that she didn't want to do it, like, okay, this is what we have to do, So just having like that cheerleader definitely helped. And then I just think like, yeah, you might dread it, but you have to think to yourself, like, the max it's going to be is 25 minutes. And I feel like you can do anything for 25 minutes. You just have to push yourself. And at the end of every single run, I always felt like amazing and was really thankful and glad that I did it. Maybe not in the middle when I was breathing at a 9 and thought I was going to like fall over and die. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I kind of wanted to add, like, I know it is a huge time commitment, and that was one thing that was a challenge, but I've really found, I don't know about you, Brittany, but like there was like a group of people who kind of like huddled together in a chat, like a subgroup, and just really kind of went deeper into relationship with each other and encouraged each other on a deeper level than just posting in the group. And I found that to be really awesome. And it got me thinking, I'm like, this program, like running for a lot of people is a huge mental barrier. Like, it's just a thing. People are terrified to run, like I was. I know that there are other people out there that feel the same. And I don't know. I have this feeling that with this program, if you do want to run like a challenge group with it, it might require like a step deeper into the community aspect of it, like maybe some Zoom calls, maybe some extra chats or things like that, more than just like a bod group. Like, you know, live videos are really good, things like that. Things that get people really engaged, I think is really important in this one because it's really tough, and you know there are so many things that you have to overcome mentally, and we need each other for that. So I don't know, that's just kind of a thought I have that I'm bouncing around, like how do we create an even deeper level of community in a group like this where we're going to have to, you know, do hard things. Like we always have to in all the programs, but I've found that this one was more mentally challenging than any other one I've ever done.
It's a really, really good point. And do you guys plan to like redo the program at all, do you think, right now? Or like just kind of talk about it and cheer people on? And just curious.
I'm personally, I want to do it right alongside everybody. I have my own goals for my second round, and I want to show people that like even once you already are a runner, like I'm not an avid runner by any means. Like I still run a 11-minute mile, you know, but um, but I really believe that like there's no end to the, like you can keep doing the program and keep seeing results. And I want to do it alongside for another round. I'm in the middle of my second round right now. And I'm totally down to do a third round with the people that sign up.
Love it.
Yeah, actually, I'm doing the second round right now too. And it was kind of weird because as soon as we were done with the first round, like my sister and I both were like, we kind of just missed those like morning runs with each other. As weird as that seemed, since like in the beginning I was absolutely dreading it. But yeah, I think when it comes out and like others start doing it, I think I might try the time crunch one just because it is hard right now. And like we're getting up at 6 a.m. and running in the dark, and it's starting to get cold and like kind of just scary. And so, yeah, I think I might just do the time crunch one when it officially launches, and just like to change it up a little bit and just be something different.
All right, I'll leave it open to any questions that people have. Feel free to unmute yourself, or if you're hiding, you can type it in the chat. Oh, I want to come,
Hey,
Dana. Sorry.
do you guys know anybody that did it on a treadmill? I don't have one, but was just curious if in your guys' chats, or I think you said, Brooke, you said you had talked with extra people
Oh yeah.
on there.
A lot of people actually did it on a treadmill.
Interesting.
Like a ton of people did. They did all of it, including their 5K on a treadmill. So that's a total, you know, they've got, so Idalis she's got audio runs, and then there's also video runs. So if you're doing it on a treadmill, it's kind of nice. You can put the video up and run along with her and watch her. She runs through these, like, the scenery is incredible. I don't know if you've done the test workout or the sample workout or whatever, but that's what the videos are for, is people who want to do it on treadmills, or if the weather's bad and you want to run on a treadmill or something like that for a day. So you have the option of doing just the audio or the video on a treadmill.
There's also like a file that's just like the breakdown of what each of the runs are. So like I downloaded an app on my phone, and so then I could just go in and type like each interval out. So then when I was running, like if I didn't have it downloaded or whatever, then I could just like play it straight from there. So then like your phone just like buzzes or dings or whatever. So you kind of know like when that interval is up and when you're supposed to switch to something else. So that was kind of nice.
So just to clarify, I think this is right, but just making sure it's running and the weight training portion every day. Okay. So how long would you say like total can you do it like separate, like one in the morning, one at night, or is there, I'm sure it's probably recommended to do it together, but like what's like the time chunk we're looking at? What'd you guys say?
Well, it kind of, it kind of varies. I would say you can, if you're like disciplined about it, you can get it done in under an hour because the weight training workout is between 20 and 30 minutes, I think. I don't think any of them are more than 30. Um, Actually, I don't even know if any of them hit 30. I can't remember. And like Brittany said, what did you say?
I think 28 is the longest.
20 was the longest?
28.
28. Yeah. So I don't think so yeah, you could do that. And then it is recommended to do it back to back, the strength training portion, and then go running. Um, she did say, she said the only one you can switch it up, the day that you can switch up and do the run first would be the core day. I don't know why that matters, but that's what she said. I think she really recommends that weight training portion first and then the run. You can split it up and do weight training in the morning and then your run in the evening if you want to. But if you're going to do that, you're going to want to go in. She has a runner's warm up that you're going to want to do before you run, because you're not going to be, your muscles aren't going to be warm from, lifting. So that'll add, it's a 6-minute warm up. So yeah, I mean, under an hour a day, if you do it back to back. And I don't think it's not every single day that it's weight training and a run, is it? I think some of the days is weight training and like a foam rollout session, which is like 20 minutes.
Gotcha.
And the cool, like for most of the workouts, then like the cool down or like stretching part at the end would be like what your warm up would be for your run. So she would talk about like different, like it wouldn't be like your normal stretching, it'd be more like what a warm up would be for a run. So it's kind of mixed into that strength training workout. But I did separate mine quite a bit. And sometimes I would have to just run before, like just because I needed someone to watch my kids or whatever.
Alrighty. Any other questions for Brooke and Brittany tonight? You guys, this was awesome. I'm excited. I had so many like preconceived things in my head built up, like, nope, this is how it's going to be. But I'm like, oh, this is for everybody. This is for runners already and not runners. And yeah, sounds super cool. Super like thought out and well done. That's why we have world-class trainers and we don't have to be the trainers. Thank goodness. Oh, okay. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. So thank you guys so much, and keep, obviously I know you guys are still rocking the health part of it and the coach part of it, but keep pushing for big things, because Success Starter is just the start of the business, and I'm excited to see where you guys go with this. So thanks for hosting tonight, and everyone make it a good night. See ya.